Hey everyone, this is the ShutInBakas. My name is Chris. Today we are going to be finishing our review of Spirit Chronicles or Sari Gensoki. So, this has been something I've been pretty harsh on. This show had a lot of potential at the beginning because it had an interesting plot, and the character designs were good, the world was mildly interesting for an isekai, but, it's fantasy, so, this kind of comes with the part of the course, so it's whatever. And it just had this kind of a feeling to it that it could be better. And the point is, it did. It got better. But was it too late? Let's get into it. So basically it started off with Haruto, this Japanese dude who promised a girl when he was younger to get married when he was, getting travelled far away by his parents' work. And later on, when he becomes a teenager, he finds that that girl has, apparently gone out with somebody else and forgotten all about the promise. And that's tragic. Absolutely horrific. But, yeah, so that's terrible. And so, on his way back from finding this out, he's in a bus and the bus gets hit by a train. And everyone in that bus dies. And for the most part, I'm guessing all of the people in that bus got transported to this different world. They didn't really specify if everybody in the bus did, but most of the people in that bus has shown up, so we'll just kind of go off of that for the moment. And so, one thing goes from another, he gets reincarnated. Well, he doesn't get reincarnated. His conscience or memories get sent to a boy named Rio, which is in, the Badlands. He's impoverished, and, he's in poverty. It's all that bad stuff, setting up a good character. And then, I can't really go on and explain the whole thing because we'd be here a while, but let's just say it was kind of an interesting plot from the beginning because it had a lot going for it, the characters, and you don't usually get an isekai where the main character gets put into the body of somebody else where they're not a dominant personality or just their memories merge. It's a very strange situation, and they really failed in that regard. They completely ignored it, and the Japanese part of this show really didn't need to be there. And it was very sad, to be honest, because they kind of hinted, here and there, oh, I remember this is Japanese, or, wow, they're speaking Japanese, or, stuff like that. But the point is, the main character doesn't care at all. I think the problem is it's because Rio is the main, influence on this body. He actually only thinks, oh, I remembered that anyway. Whereas if Haruto was the main person in charge of the body, he'd be kind of freaking out a bit more, going, wait a minute, what's happening here? But no, it's very left open as to if Haruto actually does exist in his, body. Because at the midway of the series, Rio went to a village with these older people. It's a sacred village, in the middle of the forest with a big tree, very generic fantasy stuff. And the spirit basically assessed that he has a different spirit, human-sized spirit in him. I originally thought that was Haruto. Haruto's spirit was inside Rio. But no, that doesn't seem to be the case. It was a completely different character, and Haruto just, I guess, has merged completely with Rio to the point where, they're indistinguishable. And that's kind of disappointing. I wish they would have done something a bit more interesting with that, because that's kind of lame how Haruto just kind of gets pushed to the side. But this last episode did, I would say, put a kind of interesting take on what's going to happen next, because it's one of the worst endings I've seen in an isekai in terms of source material bait. So basically the ending was Haruto saves Professor Lady from being married off into a, political wedding, and then all of a sudden something happens. I'm guessing some sort of summoning happened, and these people that are just straight up from Japan. These characters are actually from Japan. They had cell phones, they were in school uniforms, and yeah, basically, Rio had to go save them. And yeah, he kind of realized, wait a minute, you guys speak Japanese, and this is a cell phone, what's going on here? And so eventually he gets to the final cart of these 3 people who have been, imprisoned and being taken away. He opens the door to find it was the girl that Haruto originally professed his love to and wanted to marry. And immediately Ryo said, wait a minute, you're that girl. And yeah, it's just kind of the case of the anime doesn't really portray, I think, any, intense emotion with any of these characters. It's all just kind of like so you're that girl. Yeah, bye. It doesn't feel like there's any emotion behind any of the actions they take. And it's just kind of a sad state, to be honest. For the fact that Ryo himself has no, real drive or emotions to speak of. He gets angry. Cool. Lots of people get angry. His mum died. Yeah, that's every protagonist in anime ever. He has to have something that sets him apart, and he doesn't. The one thing that could have set him apart, which was Haruto's memories, they don't indulge at all. So Haruto basically is just a blank canvas for you to portray yourself onto in this different world, because there's nothing to him, essentially. And I'm guessing if the series does get a second season, which it kinda has to, if it doesn't, this is going to be worse than, I don't know, Wonder Egg Priority ending, where at least that one was kind of okay, well that was just stupid. This one was kind of okay, now you're just baiting us. That was just bad, the final episode. And, I mean, overall, I think as a package, this show was decent. It's not, a criminal crime, it's not a horrific crime against humanity, but it was pretty average. The animation was, meh. The art style was good, I'll give them that. The drawing was nice, and, the environments were pretty. But, yeah, everything else was pretty meh. The voice acting didn't really hit most of the time. The music was alright. I kind of enjoy the opening and ending song. But other than that, there is really nothing much to redeem this show. Because this show, I'll say it a million times, but it had a lot of potential, but it didn't do anything with it. I've heard from people that apparently this is, the precursor to where it gets good. This is, the prologue to where everything gets good in the series. But the problem is, if they couldn't make the prologue interesting, then how can they make people want to tune in for a new season? I'm in the know-how of these things because I check these things. But the problem is, most people don't. They watch a show, they go, well, that was shit, and then they never watch it again, even if it gets a second season, because they don't want to waste their time. And if you leave a bad impression on someone, then they aren't going to come back. That's how it works. And for the most part, this show kind of left a bad impression on myself and a lot of other people, to where, most people who's read the source material say, no, it's a good show, you've got to give it more of a chance. It's just, that's the issue. If I can't give it more of a chance, because it's unlikely to get a second season. If it does, cool. But the chances are it won't. And then, of course, the fact is that the majority of people will go, well, the first season was pretty boring, not going to lie, so why would I want to check it out anymore? And that's the problem. Anyway, so overall, I've actually rated on Mel a 7 out of 10, which is an up from a 6, because at the end of the show, they actually gave us some plot progression, which is just, nutty. Who would have thought? And yeah, overall, it's just quite, I don't know, just overly a disappointing package. And yeah, anyway, I'll end the video here. I've rambled enough, and I'm pretty sure you get the point of what I'm trying to say here. Spirit Chronicles, it's not bad, it's not good, it's kind of offensive in the ending of, really, that's where you're ending it. That's sad, and the fact that we don't know if we're getting a second season makes it worse. So, I'll leave it there for you. Like the video, hit the like button if you liked the video, dislike it if you didn't. Leave me a comment telling me what's your thought of Seri Gensoki or Spirit Chronicles. I'll be interested to hear any, feedback you guys have about the show, and if you can, fill me in on anything regarding the story that I missed, perhaps. That'd be nice. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, ring the bell button if you want to know when we're uploading. Follow me on Twitter at ShutInBakas, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.